Good afternoon, everyone. I have no disclosures for this. Let me briefly start with an introduction. In the field of urology, laser lithotripsy refers to ablation of kidney stones through the uteroscope. In this procedure, a uteroscope is threaded through the urethra into the ureter all the way up to the kidney, and light is delivered through an optical fiber directly into the kidney stones to ablate and fragment the stones for passage. This procedure has been shown to be effective in kidney stones that are larger than 2 centimeters. The mechanism of action is primarily photothermal. In the past few decades, the clinical systems that have typically been used for this procedure are flash lamp pumped holmium YAG lasers, which have high peak power and operate in a very short pulse duration. Recently, however, diode pump lasers have gained interest. The cartoon on the right shows the relative time domains between the two types of lasers, with the traditional clinical lasers being on the left of that cartoon and the more recent diode pump lasers being in the medium to long pulse duration. Additionally, this fragmentation happens in a saline environment. The entire environment is flushed with saline. So the image on the bottom right shows how a vapor bubble is generated in front of the fiber and how only a portion of the light actually enters into the stone to ablate it. So our motivation for this study was to explore the effect of pulse modulation for these lower peak power diode pump lasers as compared to the higher peak power clinical lasers that are holmium YAG. So we explored a plethora of pre-pulses that offer optimal energy transfer into the stone. But for this presentation, we're just like shortening it to just two cases, two simple cases of a single pulse, which has a 500 microsecond, and a dual pulse, which has a slight 100 microsecond pre-pulse to clear the saline so that the light can transfer into the stone. So for methods, we used a diode pumped thulium YAG laser centered at 2.02 micron at 500 microsecond pulses at 0.5 joule in a 365 micron fiber. And we calculated or measured the effective energy transmission into the stone at various standoff distances. That's the distance between the fiber and the stone with the addition of fast camera imaging. With these optimized pulse durations, we tested volumetric stone removal rate in native human stones that are typically seen in the clinic, the COM, uric acid, card, and calcium phosphate being some of the examples here. In this video, I'll show a montage of all the pulse durations we explored. You can kind of see a fiber with light coming out of it at these different pulse modulations that I've shown before. Again, for simplicity's sake, you can see a min projection showing that pulse modulation really affects how deep this light can penetrate in a saline environment. Like I mentioned before, for the simplicity case, we just compared two cases, the dual pulse modulation that's shown in the red arrow here, and the single pulse modulation, which is shown in the red arrow here. Comparing the two and measuring the effective radiant energy transmission at different standoff distances, what we noted was the dual pulse modulation offers a higher radiant energy transmission into the stone. This enhanced photon delivery subsequently corresponded to higher volume removal rate using the dual pulse in most of the types of stones at two standoff distances of 0.5 millimeter and 1 millimeter, the more commonly used in the clinic. The one type of stone that didn't have a statistically significantly different volumetric removal rate was the COM stone, which are typically in terms of their mechanical strength, the hardest to ablate. An interesting result is at 0.5 millimeters at 1 millimeter source to stone separation, is that by adding 20% extra energy into the pre-pulse, the effective amount of energy that you're able to put into the stone is markedly higher than 20%, close to 50%. as well as the amount of stone removed by that pulse is significantly higher. So in conclusion, we believe the measure of radiant energy transmission efficiency is a crucial measure for evaluating how different pulse modulations can be used in diode pump lasers. This study supports the hypothesis of the dominance of the photothermal effect, and specialized pulse modulations is possible to increase ablation volumes given the versatility of these diode pump lasers. With that, I'd like to thank our lab, our collaborator, Dr. Teichmann, and the Beckman Laser Institute. Thank you.
Thank you.